And you start with an empty app. You start with nothing in it. And to do that, all you need to do is you just build that app and you drag in some new data. So I'll just drag some new data. Of course, I can connect to all sorts of variety of connectors. We have a huge number of connectors. For the interest of time, I'll just drag something in from Excel. Now, Qlik's doing a huge amount of work. It is understanding this data, it's creating the associations, and the cognitive engine is understanding the data. So not only am I going to get my data understood, but it actually is going to come out and it's going to recommend visualization for me. So the cognitive engine using the Insight Advisor has gone out and recommended visualizations for me based on what the data looks like. And I can accept or reject these. I don't have to use any of these. And maybe I like this one, so I'll just add it to my sheet. I can also provide feedback to this cognitive engine and say, this is things I'm interested in, and it will generate new insights based on that. So maybe I'm interested in gross profit. I can type in gross profit. And I'm interested in the countries. So I can put those pieces of information in there. And there we go. We now have gross profit and country. And I get a bar chart ranking that. I get a map showing that. But I also get this down here, which is a Pareto chart. It's an 80-20 analysis. It's showing me where is 80% of my profits coming from. And it's coming from the countries in blue. And then the rest of the profit is coming from the yellow and the red. So I'm going to add that to my sheet as well. So here we are. I've created a dashboard with two sheets on it. They're fully wired up. They're fully connected. I can interact with them. Or I can start to do more things that are a little more intensive and manual. I can add more data at any time. So why don't I just go here? I have this other spreadsheet I've cleverly named more data, and I'll drag that on top as well. I'm adding more data. Now I'm going to have multiple tables. So because I have multiple tables, Qlik's going to take me to visual data prep and say, how are we going to associate those tables? Now, I can do this manually and use tell Qlik exactly how to associate things together. It'll also give me hints on what it thinks makes sense. So like if I drag products probably is associated with categories, so I can drag one on top of the other. There's recommendations on the right-hand side here, and I can look at those recommendations, and actually I can preview all of them and see the completed data model all by itself. And there we go. That data model looks good, and I'll apply those associations. In Visual Data Prep, I can also go in and I can work and manipulate data. So I'm going to go into the sales table here and look at my discounts. So I bring that up, and first of all, it tells me that I have some small values and I might have some strange values in here. And in fact, in this case, I do. I actually need to replace some of the values. Sometimes when people put in zero discount, they put a dash in instead of a zero. So I'm going to search for dash, and I'm going to replace that with a zero. And I will replace that. So now anytime a dash appears, it's now a zero in the discount field. I can also use this data manipulation and continue on. So maybe I don't want to have the discount amount, but I want the discount percentage for each order. Well, I can add a field, and I can add a calculated field, and we'll call that discount percent. And I can write out an expression. Now I could write the expression, and so it's going to be my discount. There it is there, and that would be divided by and my sales. Or instead of writing it out, I can actually find it in the list and just click and bring it in here. So it can be just point and click if I choose to. And we'll create that field. So now we're creating new data from the data that we'd already manipulated. And you can see that column has appeared at the end. I also can go in and I can further manipulate the data as well. So for example, maybe I want to categorize my discount amounts. So any small discounts or basically no discounts, I'll just call those none. I'll create a bucket with those. And then anything up to 5%, that's a small discount. And anything between 5 and 10 is a medium discount. And anything above 10%, we'll call that a large discount. There we go. So I've created those buckets, and you'll see that appears over here, that based on the size of the discount, they're all categorized. So I could continue on to do a lot more data preparation here. I could connect to any sort of enterprise data sources, but in the interest of time, I'll just load this data in and continue building my visualizations. So I'll go back to my sheet here, and you'll notice that the visualizations I'd previously brought in, they just remain. They continue within the context, but now I have more fields to select from. So let's build out another visualization and see what I can do if I build something out a little more manual, not using the Insight Advisor. So if I grab sales and I'm interested in it and I drop it on the canvas, Qlik understands that I'm interested in sales. It understands that it's something that should be summed up, and it gives me this nice KPI object that sums up my sales. I then can add in more information about what I'm interested in. I can sort of have a conversation with Qlik here and say, well, what about sales for my customers? And it says, well, here you go. That's best displayed in a bar chart. If I'm interested in sales and quantity by customer, then that's best looked at in a scatter plot. And if I want to add even more information to my visualization, I can do that as well, like gross profit and freight. I now have bubbles that are different sizes or dots that are different sizes, as well as colored.